Mosaic tiles have been around just about forever, and they are still as popular as they've always been. Mosaic tiles come in a sheet, with each individual tile actually attached to a mesh backing. They're really simple to lay, they look good in showers, kitchen splash guards, and can make an awesome feature in a tiled room as a detailed pattern. What you'll need: mosaic tiles, spacers, scissors, tile adhesive, serrated spreader, grout, rubber grout spreader, putty knife, TFC grout sealer, rubber mallet, wooden block, tile nippers, level, safety glasses, rubber gloves and dust mask when mixing the tile adhesive and grout. When tiling a floor, the most common procedure is to actually pick the center of the floor and then tile from out there. However, take in mind the actual surface that you're going to be tiling and what are the focal points. Is it a small area? Are they going to notice the edges of the walls? Consider that. Another way is to actually just lay your tiles out in place, and then you can check it out to see what it's actually going to look like. Bear in mind when you lay it out to allow space for the grouting. Obviously, when it comes to the drain hole, you need to cut a hole for that. Now, when working with mosaics, it's quite easy because we've got all the gaps and we can see the contour of the drain hole. If, however, you're using solid tiles, just measure out the center point, mark it out, and then cut that hole out of that piece of tile. Now that you've got the idea, carry on around the rest of the floor, just dry laying the tiles and making sure they're in the exact place that you actually want them. Mix the tile adhesive and spread it over an area that will take around about 2 or 3 sheets of mosaic tiles. Use a small serrated spreader to create an even bed of adhesive. Lay the first sheet of tiles down, place a wooden block on it and tap the block with a rubber mallet to tap the tiles into the adhesive and level them. Check that they are level with the spirit level. Place spacers between the sheets of tiles, making sure the spacing is the same as that between the tiles themselves, so you won't be able to tell where one sheet ends and the next one begins. Continue laying the sheets towards the edge of the room. Always tap the tiles down and check that they are level. If your walls are not square, you are going to end up with a wedge shape, so you're going to have to cut your tiles accordingly. You can do a whole strip at a time, or you can do each individual mosaic. If you need to cut a whole line of them in half, then keep them on the mesh and use a tile cutter. The mesh will help hold the tiles in place. We've got our hole marked for our shower drain. Now it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to pull out each individual mosaic and trim off the bits that we don't want. Allow the adhesive to dry for at least 24 hours before grouting. Mix the grout as per the manufacturer's instructions and apply it with a rubber spreader, working it into the spaces between the tiles with a number of sweeps. Before leaving the grout to harden, use a damp sponge to clean any grout from the tile surfaces and run a damp finger or a piece of doweling along the joints to create a smooth finish. Leave the grout for 15 to 20 minutes, then wipe the tile surfaces again. Once the grout is dry, polish the tile surface with a soft dry cloth. To test when it's safe to clean off grout residue, press your thumbnail into a filled joint. If it doesn't leave an impression, then it's safe to go ahead. After a few days and the grouting is dry, you need to apply a grout sealer. The TFC grout sealer comes already mixed and it's got a little applicator nozzle which allows you to put the sealer onto the grouting only. Always wipe the excess sealer off the tiles and allow 24 hours for it to dry. And there you have it, a mosaic floor to be proud of. Don't forget, if you need any advice on mosaics, go down and see the folks at your local builders.